Hello. I'm back in the bathroom. I'm gonna try to post like three, I don't know, at least 3 times a week. That's what I've committed to, because ideally I would like to make this a channel for, like-minded people, and I would like it to be like a channel where I talk about law of attraction and sobriety and just, self-love and loving life, and to have it be kind of that space that, I was looking for. And like when I started to get into fitness, which I'm obviously have some, a way to go, but like I said in my last video, I did lose 25 pounds, and that's amazing. And like I eat vegetables in the morning, and that's something else that like blew my mind. I didn't even know like I could do. It's like I could quit doing heroin, but like I couldn't quit Oreos for like a year and a half. And I was like, how can you quit needle dope but can't put down the Nutella? Like, what is really going on? But anyway, I lost 25 pounds, and I tried keto. I tried like Nutrisystem when I was sober for 4 years. And anyway, this isn't going to be about weight loss and health, but the point is that I'm kind of like a vegan light, like super light, slash vegan and vegetarian. And I found High Carb Hannah, Tabitha Brown. There's like all these YouTube channels and content that's really amazing for living a healthy lifestyle. And we're just living in such an amazing time. The glare is still there. We're just living in such an amazing time where there's so many resources available, and you just have to have a focus and focus on the right things. And that's what I have had to be like very diligent about, because for every like amazing thing that you can find that's really going to like help your soul and be nourishing to your soul, there's going to be like 1,000 things that are just there to suck the life out of you, like literally suck the energy out of you. And I just have to be really careful, because like since getting sober and now being like nearly 4 years into my sobriety, I'm like noticed if I'm not using my creativity towards something, if I'm not expressing myself, I'm either expressing or consuming. I'm either working on my mind, body, or spirit. I'm either like walking the dog, writing, meditating, and now doing videos, or I'm just like watching the shit online that's like puts me in a bad mood and makes me scared and makes me angry and fearful. And I'm just like, man, shit's ridiculous. Like, I just can't do it anymore. It's like such a waste of time. But there are so many things that are just there to distract you and to keep you in like a low vibration and keep you down. And that's how, not being diligent with your time and your energy, that's how people relapse. And with the world being more chaotic than ever, like I'm so lucky that I got sober right before I got sober for the finished building like this 15-month foundation of sobriety right before the pandemic really like kicked off, because I was like, man, I know that if I had not gotten sober before the pandemic, that I would have been just one of the hundreds of thousands, if not millions, of people who are a nameless, faceless statistic. And so anyway, the world's crazy. It's getting crazier, but at the same time, I hate that there's that glare. At the same time, there's so many amazing things to focus on, and so much there's so much that I don't know. I've lost my train of thought now. Damn it. I'm not going to start this video over. And the point is that yesterday I kind of gave a summary of my life and where I was at and how I got sober. And today I just want to make a much shorter video, kind of focusing on a misconception that I think a lot of people have about recovery and about addiction and life in general. And it pretty much, it seems like to me, applies to everybody, like one of these two categories. when I was growing up, and then once I like really fell headfirst into addiction, it was like, oh, Kat was out of the bag. Jamie has like, all these problems, all these like emotional problems and mental problems. When the entire 13 years that, my life was in shambles, people would always say to me, oh, I thought you were better than that. You're too good to do that. You're from a family that loves you. You're too pretty to do drugs. You're too smart to be in this chaotic relationship. Too good, too smart, too pretty, from too good of a family. And, when somebody has mental illness, when somebody has addiction, when somebody has this like, bent up and battered and tattered soul, that really is not fucking helpful. What's that gonna do? Like if you say to somebody, oh God, you're too good to be doing that, and it's like, well, I am doing that, motherfucker. I mean, do you got any tips? Can you help me out here? Because I'm clearly missing something. And so that's one side of it. It's kind of looking at people from the outside in. And I mean, I guess it's human nature. I've done it. I think we've all done it. Kind of look at somebody from the outside. And something I've done a lot in the past I'm working on is like, I'll think, oh, she's like so skinny. She's so beautiful. She's too, skinny to be thinking that or doing that, or too, like if you're thin, you're not going to have any problems. How stupid is that? And I think the same thing about rich people, like mega rich. And I know money doesn't buy happiness, and I'm working on it. And I know that's like a distorted thought. God, I wish this guy wasn't there. But I know this is like a distorted thought. But, money does buy happiness if you don't have any of it, right? And it's like, oh, money doesn't buy happiness. Well, give me money and watch me smile. You know what I mean? But I know deep down that it doesn't buy happiness. And I know that just because somebody's life looks perfect or they look like they're really, well off, that doesn't mean anything. And that doesn't affect what's going on in their mind. That doesn't affect none of the external circumstances that a person might have been born into. No matter how anybody looks, no matter how, intelligent anybody is, or their family or anything, that has nothing to do with what's going on inside their heart, their mind, their soul, and everybody's just trying to, it's all relative, and we're all just trying to make it, like one day at a time. And the flip side of that too, there's a flip side. And this is why I said like people fall into, it seems like kind of one or two categories. They're either like too good, or from too good a family, too rich a family, whatever, to be doing fill in the blank, or they are, it's the opposite. It's like, oh God, no wonder they're like that. Look at their family. And I've done the same thing. And it's true to a degree, everything. It's like, yeah, it makes sense why somebody, if they're from, multi-generational poverty, no shit, it would be easier to live in poverty if you start in poverty. If you're from, a family of addiction, it's easier to stay in a cycle you're already born into. But at the same time, something that never sat right with me was, for one thing, the fact that I was told, like I said, I heard it a million times, and I'm not saying this to be arrogant, it's true. Like when I was, in active addiction, I heard all the time, oh, your mom taught me in school, you're from a good family, or, I thought you were smarter than this. Oh, you're too pretty to be, doing whatever stupid thing I was doing. But, I thought then, even back then, I was like, wait a second, there are people, it just didn't sit right with me, because it's like, there are people, there's always somebody that has it worse, there's always somebody that has it better, but there are people that have, horrific, the worst of circumstances, and something inside them makes them rise above. What is it about them? They're not better, they're not more special. And it's not that I used to think some people are just like destined for success, and some people are just destined to, wallow in the pits of, self-loathing and whatever comes with that. But, that's bullshit. And I hope this doesn't sound harsh. I don't mean it to be, but, it's the truth. If your circumstances are awful, it makes sense why you might, be down and have to rise up, but it doesn't make sense why you're staying down, and because it works both ways. If you were born up, you're not going to necessarily stay up. You have to look at your perspective and focus on perspective, no matter where you came from, what circumstances you're in, what horrible things you may have done. It's all a matter of perspective. And, it has to start with, man, I want something more. There has to be more. And like I said the other day, it goes back to worthiness. Because I am alive, I am worthy of more. And if you're selfish in the right ways, I was talking about that yesterday too, and you really, in my opinion, live from the heart and just do what fills your heart with passion, it's going to be one of three things. It's either going to be your mind, it's going to nourish your mind, it's going to nourish your body, it's going to nourish your soul, or ideally, I guess, a combination of the three. That's why, I wanted to fill in those blanks. I didn't know what I wanted to do. I had nothing that ever nourished me. I had all this shit that was killing me, and I was like, well, this is sufficient because it's better than nothing. But when I actually decided to say, you know what, this isn't sufficient, this isn't going to work, and I refused to have my final thought before, I died, be like, damn, I didn't even try, I knew in my heart of hearts if I was going to give it my best shot, or if I was just going to, throw in the towel. And I wasn't going to throw in the towel and just allow myself to, die alone or die surrounded by people who lacked the capacity either way to really care if I lived or died. I wasn't going to die that way without a fight, without really taking a chance on myself. But I kind of lost my train of thought again, but it's just I remember the three things. I was like, okay, I want to try to live from the inside out instead of looking at an external distraction or who has it better, who has it worse, why am I this way and somebody else is this way. Fuck everybody, fuck what they're doing. I just got to do me, and I got to figure out who me is to do me. And so I started being like, okay, if I'm going to live from the heart. When I was homeless, there was a time where me and my now ex-husband, we were squatting in this house. It was this derelict home. It was completely abandoned. It had been abandoned for a while, and I slept in this bedroom of this abandoned house that used to be a little girl's room. And this house was like a hoarder house. When somebody lived in it, you could tell they were a straight up hoarder. There was a room with 10 sombreros. There was the most random shit in this hoarder house. It was going back to nature. It leaked. Plants were growing up from the floorboards. Rats were in the walls. It was really horrible. But I was staying in this house with some other seekers and squatters and people that were just in a similar boat. And I was looking at rooms where to stay, and there was a little girls room, and I opened up the door, and some little girl at some point in time, who may very well be a woman now, I don't know, had drawn on her walls this Alice in Wonderland mural with the Cheshire Cat and like these really whimsical plants, and she had like a little Alice on the wall. And I was like, man, this is my room, you know, where I'm going to stay for the time being. And that first night I went to sleep, you could hear the rats like run through the walls, and they were like the size of cats. They were gigantic rats. It was pretty freaky because sometimes they would like jump up on your feet and stuff and run across you. But I looked over on the wall, and we had candles like lit up because obviously there wasn't electricity. And she had taped a fortune cookie to the wall. Whoever this little girl is, at some point in time when she lived there, she had taped a fortune cookie to the wall. And I looked at it, and it said, the fortune was, it said, your heart is your greatest asset. And I kept that fortune cookie in my pocket for like years after that. And that always stuck with me. And I knew I had a big heart. I knew, you know, my heart was like too big. I always thought I was too sensitive, too big hearted, too kind hearted, like to live, too sensitive for the world. And it's not that I'm too sensitive or too big hearted. I just didn't know what to do with it. So when I started to get sober, I was like, okay, I'm really going to try to live from the heart and be selfish in the right ways, which is just do things that are really like nourishing to me. And if they're nourishing to me, then I'm assuming they will be nourishing, like, you know, things will start to fall into place. Maybe they'll be nourishing for the world, you know, or, you know, at least my little pocket of influence in this vast, you know, world. But not that I have any influence, but you see what I'm saying. Like, I knew it had to start from the heart. I knew it had to start from the soul. And I had to figure out, well, my God, what am I going to do? So I was like, let's do the Holy Trinity, mind, body, and spirit, right? Let me do something every day that like nourishes those three things, and spend my time, my free time, doing one of those three things. So a couple years into my sobriety, I got a dog. I'd always wanted a pit bull. I like literally, I guess, and figuratively love the underdog. I got a pit bull. I go outside. I go on long walks with the dog every day. I started journaling, like I said. So that's mind and body. I started like trying to eat right. I tried keto. That didn't work for me personally. I was like, man, I love carbs, but like this ranch and bacon, like I need, no, this, it just didn't work for me, but it's awesome. Actually, that's somebody else that I follow. Jess, somebody, she's like really into keto, and she's lost hundreds of pounds, but I just didn't have, it just wasn't for me. More of like the vegan, kind of like vegan, super light vegetarian some days is what works for me. And really nothing like strict works for me. I have to give myself that leeway. But the point is I got serious about drinking water and eating vegetables that aren't covered in grease and butter, and, you know, eating in a more natural way, and it just a way that nourished me, and I could feel it nourishing me. And for my soul, like I said, I do meditation and affirmations, and hopefully now these videos, I think they're also going like to do something for me, because I'm an introvert. This is not comfortable for me. This is not normal, but I feel like it's time where I start like putting like some tricks and tips out there, and hopefully like, and you know, it'll help somebody else. But those are the three things I do. It's not all I do, but that's kind of the bulk of it. And it's just is so different when you live like from the inside out instead of from the outside in, like consume. It's just, I think people can tell we're fucking fed up. This is not natural. There has to be something better. Like on a grand scale, I think we're kind of collectively being like, this ain't it, and we can feel it. This just feels, you know, like plastic and artificial, and like we've all been sold this like bill of bullshit. But anyway, I'm not focused on the world and like these like meta problems. I'm just focused on myself, and that's like a full-time job. But in summary with this video, if you're from a good family, quote unquote good family, and you're a good person with a good heart like I was, and good, that's great. But it doesn't matter if you're from a good family, if you're from a bad family. You can and deserve to and are worthy of rising above and finding happiness for yourself and rising above whatever obstacles you were dealt, and you're worthy of just living authentically from the inside out. So have a good night.